Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're a 49ers fan, this is terrible news. The 49ers, who never appreciated Jordan Mason, just traded him to the Vikings, who just got a hell of a lot better. They got an excellent, physical, downhill, tough, get the extra yards running back in Jordan Mason. He averaged more yards per carry than Christian McCaffrey last year, even when Christian McCaffrey was hurt, by the way, and the year prior to that. I think if the 49ers would have utilized more of a 1-2 punch instead of just running Christian McCaffrey in the ground and then only utilizing Mason and running him in the ground. If they would have gone back and forth between the two of them, maybe they would have won the Super Bowl the year prior to last season and done much better last year. But unfortunately, they never appreciated Mason, and now he is on the Vikings. What a team that's going to be. When I talked about that 1-2 punch, they have Aaron Jones, the former Packers running back on their team, so they're going to utilize him. He was a great running back for them last year, and then they'll have Mason as the 1-2 punch. Obviously, in the receiving game, they have Jefferson. Vikings are going to be a good team. Their defense has not gotten worse, and they had a great defense last year. I don't know if they stay with JJ McCarthy, or if they're going to go out and get a different quarterback, but that team is stacked. I mean, Sam Darnold looked like a star on them last year, so I guess we already kind of knew that, but with Jordan Mason, the Vikings only get better, and I think the 49ers get much worse. This is such a disappointing move. I guess the writing was on the wall this morning. They brought back Kyle Juszczyk. I didn't like the move. I know he's a fan favorite, but he is 34 years old, going to be turning 35 in the middle of last season, or next season. The 49ers, they're married to their system and their scheme, and they like having running backs, or they like having fullbacks, but they gave Juice 2 years, $7 million. The Vikings gave Jordan Mason the 49ers gave Kyle Juszczyk 2 years, $8 million. And then the Vikings gave Jordan Mason 2 years, $7 million guaranteed. Now, he does have the ability to, get up to $12 million depending on how much he rushes for. But I bet they're going to get him closer to $7 million because, like I said, he's not going to be their every down running back. So he's not going to break, records on their team. I think he's just going to be super solid for them. I think he's, going to rush for 5 to 7 yards per carry, which is incredible for a running back, especially a number 2 running back. What did the 49ers get in return for this? They gave him away for nothing. They just wanted to move off of his contract. They got a next year, 2026, 6th-round pick, and then they did a pick swap with the Vikings this year. So they went from picking at 187 to 160. So that's 27 picks higher. So they moved up 27 spots, which is not that much in this year's draft, and got a 6th-round pick. Whoop-de-doo next year. I mean, if we want to be positive for the 49ers, he was a, undrafted free agent. So they ended up getting more for him than than it took to get him when they did draft him, or not draft him, but picked him up after the draft. And he definitely contributed while he was here. So I guess it makes sense, but when I think about the 49ers, who their running backs are right now, they obviously have Christian McCaffrey, and it makes, with them saving, being the number one importance for them and saving money, I guess it should have made sense that they were going to move off of Jordan Mason, because they gave Christian McCaffrey the highest paid running back contract in the NFL. He is currently still injured. John Lynch said that he's not sure if Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to participate in training camp and mini camp and all that this year. They don't know when he'll be fully healthy and able to play full go football. He did say he thinks at some point in the offseason he will be ready and should be ready to start the season. But Christian McCaffrey's had a lot of wear and tear on his tires, 2 major injuries with the bilateral Achilles tendonitis in both Achilles, and then his, huge knee injury. So now they have Christian McCaffrey. They moved off of Jordan Mason, so they have Isaac Guerendo. They're definitely going to draft a running back, and that's the only thing that I guess makes me feel a little bit better about this is the rumors are this is a really good running back class, that you can actually draft a running back, in the lower rounds, six rounds. I don't know if they're going to pick him as high as 160. If they utilize the 3rd round on a running back, that might not be good luck for them because they have missed in the third round a lot. But fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, they're definitely going to get a running back somewhere because it is such a deep running back draft. But yeah, I'm sad to see Jordan Mason go. I don't think he ever lived up to his fullest potential here. And I think he'll be a rock star on the Vikings. And they didn't pay him that much, and they didn't give up much. And they did bring back Kyle Juszczyk, who, I mean, obviously they play a different position, but both of them in the blocking game, both of them are utilized in the passing game occasionally. I don't know. I'm a bit bummed about it. You guys let me know. How do you grade this? I'll give it, like I said, you don't want to, if I was grading it, I wouldn't give it an F because he was undrafted and they ended up getting draft capital back for him. And he, while he was here, did well. But they didn't get much for him. I think they could have, gotten a this year's first, not a first, but a this year's, fourth round pick. Why did a next year's sixth round? That's like nothing. And then this year only moving up a couple spots. I wish they would have kept him, but if Christian McCaffrey is healthy all year, then I'm going to look like the one that's wrong. Are you betting on Christian McCaffrey, who's 28, to be healthy all year? Do you think Kyle Juszczyk, who's 34 and plays in a personnel that they, were very inefficient in? They were not efficient with Kyle Juszczyk on the field. He, I think he had like 8 targets last year. So that's $1 million per target or per catch. That's a lot of money for Kyle Juszczyk. Now, he's a good player. He's a fan favorite, but I wish that they didn't have to get rid of Jordan Mason to keep him. Unfortunately, he's going to go to the Vikings, and I think they're going to be a good team. I'll give this it's probably a C, but I'm emotionally attached to Jordan Mason, so I might give it a C-. But maybe it's a C. He's undrafted. They got picks back from him. He's, they didn't want to spend that money. They got to save a little money by moving off of him. I just would have rather had 25-year-old Mason than 34-year-old Juice. And I think with Christian McCaffrey having his injuries the last, year, I don't know. Is Isaac Rendo going to be a great number 2? And if he has to take over as the full-time guy, he kind of struggled at that position last year when Jordan Mason and CMC went down. The Lions use Gibbs and Montgomery. Looks like now the Vikings are going to do a similar strategy. I wish the 49ers would have done that. Had 2 running backs and used them both instead of wearing them both down. But anyways, that's the breaking news. Please give me a like, give me a subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Love you. Bye.